US markets lifted by Nvidia rally amid Trump tariff setback, a deep dive analysis. On Thursday, US financial markets experienced a notable upswing as the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq posted gains buoyed by an impressive earnings report from Nvidia and a constitutional federal court ruling that nullified the majority of former President Donald Trump's buoyed tariff regime. Nvidia, the Silicon Valley-based semiconductor titan at the forefront of the AI revolution, saw its stock soar 4.8% after announcing quarterly revenue that exceeded Wall Street expectation. The company attributed its surge to a preemptive surge in purchases from customers, particularly ahead of looming US export curbs targeting China. However, Nvidia tempered the celebratory mode by cautioning that new export restrictions could erase as much as $8 billion from its upcoming quarter's revenue, underscoring the geopolitical risks tied to global tech trade. Meanwhile, the broader market momentum was somewhat dampened after the US federal court struck down the bulk of tariffs imposed by the Trump administration since January. The ruling sent ripples through investors' sentiment, particularly since the levies had reshaped the trade landscape for several industries. The court's decision excluded some sector-specific duties, notably on automobile, steel, and aluminium, leaving uncertainty in key industrial areas. Nvidia propelled the semiconductor sector, lifting the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index by 1.2%. Donald Trump, his signature trade weapon, sweeping tariffs was largely invalidated, though key exemptions remain under scrutiny. The White House economic advisor remained optimistic, revealing that 3 trade deals were close to completion despite the legal setback. Keith Buchanan interpreted Nvidia's resilience as a balancing act between foreign demand and domestic regulatory hurdles. Information technology and real estate led the gains among the 11 S&P 500 sectors. The index now sits roughly 3% below its record high from February 19, recovering from April's near 19% dip due to erasing trade anxieties and favorable economic data. The Commerce Department's revised GDP figures showed a 0.2% contraction in Q1, slightly better than the anticipated 0.3% drop. The revision highlights continued fragility in US economic momentum. The day's market activity paints a complex picture of investors' sentiment, navigating strong corporate earnings, judicial pushback on protectionist trade policy, and underlying economic vulnerabilities. Nvidia's dominance in AI chip manufacturing proved a beacon of growth in a regulatory storm, while the judicial slapdown of Trump's tariff signaled potential rebalancing in international trade relations. With May trending toward its strongest monthly performance since November 2023 for both the S&P 500 and Nasdaq, investors remained cautiously optimistic. However, uncertainties tied to geopolitical trade policies and their knock-on effects